Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and do you want Jalen Ramsey to be a Raider? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Let me know why you want Jalen to be a Raider, or let me know why you don't want Jalen Ramsey to be an Oakland Raider. The reason why I'm asking you this question is because Jalen Ramsey, he wants to be a Raider. Ramsey was on Bussin with the Boys podcast hosted by Titans offensive tackle Taylor Lewan and former linebacker Will Compton. Earlier this summer, the show was posted this week and revealed that Ramsey said if he leaves the Jags, he would want to play for either the Raiders or the Titans. Now, I think, personally, the only reason Jalen Ramsey said that he wants to play for the Titans, first reason, well, he's from Nashville, Tennessee. Second, he's on a podcast with two men who are much bigger than him, who were either currently playing for the Titans or used to play for the Titans. So what really do you expect him to say? And the way that Ramsey came out and said it, he was like, oh, I'd play for the Raiders, and, kind of like, of course, I'd play for the Titans as well. So the fact that Jalen Ramsey wants to be a Raider, this is why people are talking. But also, why would anybody want to play for the Tennessee Titans? I mean, personally, they're the most average team possible, 9-7 the last 3 years. So I'm going to ask you this question. How many wins for the Tennessee Titans this year? 2019, a team led by Marcus Mariota, a team led by running back Derrick Henry, who I don't even know if he's going to be able to play. Sure, they have some good receivers, Corey Davis. Their defense is pretty solid. So how many wins for the Titans this year? But this show is not called the Titans Report, and if it was, I wouldn't have a job. So how many wins for the Raiders this year? That's the question that probably matters a little bit more. So how many wins for the Oakland Raiders in 2019? Because I think Jalen wants to play for a winner, and if the Raiders are going to have more wins than the Titans this year, somebody should tell Jalen Ramsey. But the biggest issue with him, he's not going to come cheap, right? Jalen Ramsey won't stop turning up the heat on the Jags because this dude wants a new deal. Ramsey won't be getting that new deal this season, though, because the Jags have already picked up his fifth-year option for the 2020 season. So Ramsey, the fifth overall pick in 2016, he's going to make $3.63 million this season, okay? This season. Between you and me, I'd be more than okay making $3.63 million. But then next year, okay, it's going to hop up to 13.7, which would actually put him in the top 10 in the NFL among quarterbacks. So I know Jalen Ramsey wants to get paid. You guys know that he wants to get paid. And he has made it absolutely not a secret whatsoever this entire offseason. I mean, he literally showed up like this the first day of training camp in a truck coming out with money bags. You know what? I'm okay with this because in my personal opinion, I think Jalen Ramsey is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And you know what? If he wants to get paid, that's okay with it. The only issue is some people are like, Mitch, he wants to get paid a ridiculous amount of money because of this quote that Jalen said. I'm going to ask for so much, they have to put me on layaway. That was Jalen Ramsey's quote on getting paid. Now, Jalen did come out and say a little bit later on that he was only quoting longtime NFL cornerback Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders had a big personality. Jalen Ramsey has a big personality. Now, I'm not saying that Jalen Ramsey will take a discount because he's not going to take a discount anywhere he goes. And heck, he literally told Leonard Fournette on Instagram Live that he's not going to take a discount. My only thing is, it is an NFL pass-happy league. And Jalen Ramsey, if you want to be a Raider, and if he comes at a good price, not saying like a cheap price, at a good price, I think it's something that you at least need to think about. Now, if you're thinking, Mitch, where did you get that shirt? It's at www.RaiderNationStore.net. Now, unfortunately, that's not me in the picture, and if it was, I'd probably have more Instagram followers. So, www.RaiderNationStore.net if you want to get some sweet shirts like this. If you want 3 shirts, plus some extra swag, maybe like a flag, maybe like a pop socket, hit me up, okay? DM me, Raider Nation for life on Instagram or on Twitter, at MitchellRens365. I'm trying to hook people up with a bunch of Raiders swag because I went to San Diego this past weekend and I saw more Raiders stuff than I did Charger stuff, and it made me happy. Let's continue to grow the nation. Let's spread the word. www.RaiderNationStore.net. Get yourself some swag. DM me, our Raider Nation for life on Instagram or Twitter. So, we need to get the Raiders. We got to get the Raiders. We need to get my show to 20K. And after that horrible intro that I just told you guys to subscribe, maybe that's the reason why I'm not at 20K yet. YouTube.com/Raiders Report. If you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, click that big red button. If you're already a loyal subscriber, and I know a bunch of you are, and I appreciate that, send that link, YouTube.com/Raiders Report, to a friend or to a loyal Raiders watcher. Currently at 20K. Got to get to currently at 19,751. Not doing very well on this. Got to get to 20K by August 13th on Hard Knocks, or hopefully, I don't know, I can continue to do my show. But maybe I won't because I'm not at 20K. Horrible way to do this. All right, let's keep the show moving here. Is Jalen Ramsey a good fit with the Raiders? I personally think that, yes, he would be a good fit with the Raiders, and honestly, he'd be a good fit just about anywhere. He's one of the best young cornerbacks in the NFL. And I think Jalen Ramsey and Gareon Conley would be an absolutely sick duo. And I don't care about a pro football rating, okay? Because they rated him as the 28th best cornerback last year. But guess what? Him going into this year, they have him rated as the second best guy. So I've heard a lot of people be like, Mitch, PFF's really good. PFF is a solid company. But also, PFF throws out grades that literally make me laugh out loud. Come on. Antonio Brown, a 79.3. Rodney Hudson, a 76.5. Trent Brown, 66.9. In what world do we live in that those grades make any kind of sense? Sometimes you just need to watch the player on the field. Now, this is what Jalen Ramsey has done his entire career. He's consistent, right? 65 tackles, 63 tackles, 65 tackles. Now, a lot of people, they'll go back and say, well, Mitch, he didn't really have that good of a year last year. Which I think some of that is true compared to his year that he had in 2017. But also, you're the Jags. Your quarterback's Blake Bortles. Your running back situation is an absolute shit show. And you're on the field more than just about any defense in the entire league. You're going to get tired. But Jalen Ramsey, to me, I don't care if his numbers aren't like eye-popping. The dude still had 14 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and 65 tackles in today's NFL on a team that won 4 games. 5 games. However many games they won. Not many. Jalen Ramsey is an elite cornerback, and he's young. And if he wants to be a Raider, I'm okay with it. Now, here's the Raiders' defensive back depth chart, okay? I personally think that we are solid with Gareon Conley, Worley, Carl Joseph, Jonathan Abram, LaMarcus Joyner. We have a very solid defensive back depth chart. But I had to do it. I had to do it. I mean, this is pretty, okay? Gareon Conley, Jalen Ramsey. 2 cornerbacks like that, and then with Jonathan Abram, who I expect big things from, Carl Joseph and LaMarcus Joyner. This is a very, very fun and entertaining defensive back depth chart. The other reason why I think Jalen Ramsey would be a good fit with the Raiders is because of certain things that I hear about him. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jalen Ramsey admitted on Bussin' with the Boys podcast that he would DM his opponent's girlfriends to get in their head. Like, he also said that he doesn't do it anymore in the NFL, probably because he doesn't, I'll say, dominate in the NFL like he did in college. But I don't know about you guys. Sure, this might be stepping over a line, but between you and me, if I'm trying to get a competitive advantage over my opponent, and I can get that competitive advantage before even stepping on the football field, I'm okay with it. And to be honest, I kind of like it. And if Jalen Ramsey is going to add that fire, this is awesome. Y'all love Jonathan Abram on Hard Knocks. He brings that fire. You put Jalen Ramsey and Jonathan Abram in the same locker room, oh yeah, there is going to be a lot of fire, a lot of trash talking. Here's the thing. Jalen, in my opinion, he backs it up. And if he wants to do shit like this, hey, I'm all about it. So he's DMing people. So what's your best pickup line, okay? If Jalen Ramsey's sliding in the DMs of his opponent's girlfriends, I want to know from the entire nation, what's your best pickup line? And if you guys want to go above and beyond, tell me about a pickup line that actually worked, or a pickup line that you sent to somebody and they basically threw a glass of water in your face, I'm all about it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Facebook, comment below, what is your best pickup line? I'm going to read some off on next Raiders Report. Next question, will Jalen Ramsey be a Raider? Type 4 for Believe It Baby, or type 0 for Tuck Rule, Tuck That. If you're like, Mitch, what does 4 and 0 have to do with anything? You probably aren't a loyal watcher of the show. 4 Chucky Heads, 0 Chucky Heads, Tuck Rule, Tuck That. Will Jalen Ramsey be a Raider? Special shout out to today's sponsor, MyBookie. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders. Use that promo code GoRaiders for a 100% deposit bonus. You put down $100, going to give you $100 for free. You put down $300, going to give you $300 for free. And also, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't even think I winked there. There we go. I can hook you up with some Raiders swag if you get started with MyBookie. Just slide in those DMs, and I can get you guys hooked up. So, Jalen Ramsey coming to the Raiders, okay? The way that I'm going to end this show is I'm going to basically tell you how I think Jalen Ramsey will be a Raider and basically how I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to be a Raider. So I'll start it off with this. Ramsey will be a Raider if the Raiders have a good 2019. So if the Raiders come out, have a really solid year, and then they're going into Las Vegas, I think that Jalen ultimately will want to be a Raider. Next one. If the Raiders are going to pay him a lot of money, like Ramsey has stated multiple times, he wants to get paid. And if the Raiders are willing to offer him more money than anybody else, there's a good chance this dude is going to be in silver and black. Next one. Trayvon Mullen struggles. I like Trayvon Mullen. He's putting in solid work this offseason. He's working with Antonio Brown. Well, was working with Antonio Brown when AB was healthy. I think he's a good player. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, a rookie who we drafted to play in the secondary doesn't live up to expectations. Cough, cough, Carl Joseph. Cough, cough, Gareon Conley, like they were supposed to in year one. The last way, if Gareon Conley gets seriously injured. So for those of you that don't know, Gabe Jackson, he went down with an injury on Thursday. The thing now is with Conley, he's already struggled with a lot of injuries. But when he's been healthy, especially over the last half of the season, Gareon was productive. But if Gareon Conley, let's say, gets injured and now the Raiders are panicking a little bit because they don't have that number one corner, maybe that's a reason for them to go out and get Jalen Ramsey. So I gave you the if he would come. Now I'm going to give you the argument. Let's say Jalen Ramsey's not going to become a Raider. The first one, pretty simple. If another team pays him, if the Tennessee Titans come out and say, hey, Jalen, we're going to offer you $15 million, and the Raiders sit there and say, oh, we'll give you $14, Jalen Ramsey's probably going to go to the team that offers him the most money. Another reason why I don't think the Raiders should go out and get him or Jalen would be a Raider is, let's say the secondary that they have this year, which I think could happen, is great. Why go out and add a player if you already have a solid secondary? Like, the one thing that does not get talked about enough in the NFL is how 11 guys playing together. The Raiders actually need to be able to keep some of these players, some coaches, because there's been so much change and turnover. You see solid teams like the Patriots, they hang on to their coaches. They hang on to a lot of their players. And then what happens? The team works well together. Okay, another reason, Jalen Ramsey, if you were to suffer an injury, I'm never going to wish an injury on anyone, but we've seen it in the past. I mean, if a guy suffers a serious injury, it can really hinder his ability to go to another team, maybe like an Eric Berry. Next and last one, what happens if the Jags win the Super Bowl? I don't think Jalen Ramsey's going to go anywhere. I think he's going to want to stay with the Jags. And for those of you that are like, Mitch, come on, man. The Jags are never going to win the Super Bowl. I'll say this. In 2017, they were in the AFC Championship game, a few seconds away from beating the Patriots. And between you and me, they probably should have beat the Patriots and gone to the Super Bowl in just 2017. The Jags have a very solid defense. And now if Nick Foles can live up to just do what he did with the Eagles, don't be surprised if the Jags are a sleeper team that we're like, wow, they're in the playoffs, and who knows, they could be in the Super Bowl. So, I started the show with this question, and I'm going to end the show with this question. Do you want Jalen Ramsey to be a Raider? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Let me know in the comments section. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors, and look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.